Hello and welcome to 2-3. Today we're going to be talking about powers and exponents. I would really like you to draw this graphic into your notebook. It really has a lot of great vocabulary words. When we're talking about exponents, the big number is called a base. The little baby number is called the exponent. Okay, and what this tells us is that we need to multiply our base number 3 times. So we're going to do lots of practice this, but just if you write this down, then you can remember that, okay, I need to multiply 4 3 times. And remember, this dot right here is just another symbol for showing multiplying. Because we're getting into working with variables, now an x is a variable and not a multiplying sign, which is really confusing because you've been always taught this is multiplying, and now it's going to mean a missing number. So that's kind of why we're moving towards just doing the dot multiplying sign, because we don't want to mistake it as a variable. So anyways, our goal today is that we're going to use powers and exponents in expressions. Now, this is a vocabulary word I use all the time, and the next page we're going to figure out what does that mean. Okay, so an expression, you'll notice, has no equal sign. Okay, we're not having any equal sign in an expression. It's just something like 4x plus 2. Okay, I still have to have numbers. I might have variable in there. X is a variable. Okay, plus 2. Okay, no equal sign. An equation does have an equal sign. That's really the difference. So if you're reading a math question, it says, please write an expression, then your brain needs to know what expression is and write only, whatever it's asking you, no equal sign. Okay, that can really tip you off on how to answer the question if you know the difference between expression and equation and if you're paying attention when you're reading the question. So anyways, write these down, vocabulary. Whenever you see vocabulary, it means you write it down into your notes. And let's move on. Okay, so here we have a question that says, the number of calories in 6 pancakes can be written as 10 to the third power. That's how, I would say 10 to the third power. The next page we'll also see, we can say 10 cubed. When anything's to the third power, we can use the phrase 10 cubed because there's going to be 3 of them. Right, 10 to the third power as a product, okay, product, I know I'm going to be multiplying, of the same factor. Okay, I remember that factor times factor equals product. Okay, so those are words I know because I've written them down and I'm practicing, okay? Factor times factor equals product. If we know those vocabulary words, you guys, when we're reading a question like this, we can decipher and figure out what that's actually asking us. And then it's asking us to find the value. Okay, so first it's asking us to write 10 to the third power as 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, so there's 3 10s. I'm multiplying them together 3 times. Now, I did write the x because I'm not using variables yet, so you can choose if you want to write the x multiplying, or I could have written 10 times 10 times 10. Do with a little dot. It's up to you which one you'd like to do right now. Pretty soon it's going to be, we're using only the dot, but right now it's up to you if you'd like to use x or the dot. Okay, so now I wrote it as a product of the same factor. So I did that part. I can check that off. Now it says I need to find the value. So typically what I would like you to do is say, okay, 10 times 10 is 100, and 100 times 10 is 1,000. But the thing is, there's a trick with tens. So when I have 10 to the third power, all that means is a 1 with 3 zeros. So we know it's going to be 1,000. So same goes for if I have 10 to the second power equals 100, 2 zeros, right? That tells how many zeros. This only works for 10. So don't get this an idea like, oh, well, it's just going to work for any number. No, you are going to have to do some multiplying. But, so 10 to the 6th power is just 1 with 6 zeros. And then you can go back and do 3 digits, comma, 3 digits, comma, million. Okay, so it only works for tens, but I thought I would give you that little trick so you can have it. Otherwise, we are going to have to multiply out like I showed here. Okay, let's do some more practice. Oh, sorry, vocabulary here, okay? Numbers expressed using exponents are called powers. Numbers raised to the second or third power have special names. Okay, so I want you to know this. So if I have like 2 to the 5th power, that's how I'm going to say it, 2 to the 5th power. But numbers raised to the second and third power have a special name. So 3 to the second power is also called 3 squared. Or 10 to the third power is also called 10 cubed. Okay, so how I remember that is if I think of a 2D shape and I write it on a piece of paper, it is a square. 2D square. So whenever there's a 2, we call it a squared. If I have a 3D square shape, that's called a cube. Okay, so that's why we call it cubed, because there are 3D is a 3D shape. So anyways, please remember to write these down, the special ones of cubed and squared. And also remember here, like I would say this, 2 to the 5th power. Okay, so here it says write 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 using an exponent. So the base is 3. 3 is used as a factor 4 times. So my exponent would be 3 to the 4th power. So if I were going to write 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, I'm going to multiply 3 together 4 times to write 3 to the 4th power. So I like this, you guys. We're relating to yesterday, where I broke 72 into 9 times 8. I broke 9 into 3 times 3. Those are both primes, so I'm just going to bring them down. 8 is 2 times 4. 2 is prime, bring it down. 4 is 2 times 2. Okay, so if I ordered them from least to greatest, I would have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. But I can write this as using exponents, so I don't have to waste my time and make sure I wrote the right amount or whatever. I can see that I have 3 2's, so I can do 2 to the 3rd power times 3 to the 2nd power, because I have 2 3's. So this is much easier to write as an answer. So 72, the prime factorization is 2 to the 3rd power times 3 to the 2nd power. Okay, let's do one more quick example. So if I wanted to write 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 using an exponent, the base is 4. Since 4 is used as a factor 4 times, the exponent is 4 to the 4th power. So I could rewrite 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 as 4 to the 4th power. All right, and that's all that I have for you today. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.